Hello, my dear ones. I'm going to do some more question and answers, but I got so much stuff here. Antoine, I got a pretty little gift called Laugh. And Laugh is a big deal. And this comes from an incredible soul, Antoine. Major bodybuilder trainer now. He trains bodybuilders. He's, you know, his smile is so infectious. When he comes in a room and smiles, it lights up the whole friggin' room. Incredible guy. He is just a major dude in the bodybuilding business. And thank you, my dear man. Thank you so much, my friend. You know, these guys are getting the understanding of the high proteins are wrecking their bodies and redoing it. And that is just so too cool. But cool stuff. Antoine, thank you, my dear man. Thank you. Incredible. Ashley, thank you for your note there, my dear. My granddaughter's name's Ashley. Alright, so let's see what else I got here for the news there. Hildy. This is only day 2 of a dry fast. Take a look at this. Look at that. Now, these are great pics because when people ask me, when your kidneys are filtering, what does it look like? When your kidneys are filtering, what does it look like? Well, you might not see this intense. When I was living on oranges, I had this much, or maybe half that much. Maybe half that much. Just on an orange diet. I didn't have any herbs. I didn't know any better. But this is exactly what you need. And it's in our face how important this is. Because we've just seen case after case after case. And you know, if there ever was any time that we have research that's right in our face, is our clients, you guys. We're all researching on each other. Because no one has the answers, of course, you know. So we have to research. And you guys have done well. And this is what I did. I had no idea that people didn't filter. Because I was 20 years old. I used, like Hildy is, I used filtration. I used this sediment in the jar to determine which day I was doing better and deeper in detoxification. Wasn't even thinking about there was people that didn't. I didn't even think that that was a problem. I didn't even know the system that it was involved in. So, good job, Hildy. Good job. Science news. Waiting for Amasia. In other words, 250 million years from now, Asia and North America will merge into a supercontinent. I didn't see any, that's something here on reversing aging this time, but I didn't see anything good. Generally, Science News has got some really good articles. And, thank you for all your cards and your love, guys. Oh, here was one I had a good laugh at. G6PD deficiency. Okay, G6PD deficiency, or glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency, as it is properly known, is a genetic disorder found mostly in American people of African, Asian, Middle Eastern, and Mediterranean descent, which can cause anemia under certain conditions. Although it can be fatal under the right conditions, it is quite easy to control when you know how. Back in 1950s and 60s, we called it, and I won't even go, I even know, put a word onto this thing. Anyway, basically it's an enzyme which has the main role of helping cells convert carbohydrates into form they can use. You know, you see so much of this crap out there. It means that you lack an enzyme, basically because we're looking at, if you're talking about conversion of carbohydrates into energy, ATP, ADP, AMP, that's adenosine tri, mono, and diphosphates. These are energy factors for the cells, you know. And so it's just you continue to see this, the same thing with the MFs, genes that you can't detoxify from. Then it says, of course, this is getting into oxidative stress. Let's see. So, it's an enzyme that converts carbohydrates into a form they can use. It is the process of doing that. Another enzyme produced by the reduction of glutathione. When red blood cells are exposed to oxidative stress, the cell membrane either bursts or is damaged because there is no or not enough reduced glutathione to protect them. Blah, 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 blah. You know, these people that keep thinking in these ways, they just keep getting more lost because there's no remedy for them. You know, when you get into that sort of thing and worried about oxidative stress and all that stuff, you're way out there in lands of no return. Because there's just natural processes of the human body. When you bring wrong chemistry in and you see how it burns, you can't bitch. You know, you've got to burn the correct fuel to get everything properly the way nature intended it to be. And to get into the glutathione and get into that level of thinking and stuff is crazy. It never has helped anybody. Not really. People feel a little better sometimes when they mess around with this, but then... So, you know, sometimes you get lost in these sort of things, it's the crap that's out there on the market. Oh, my dear man. Yes, yes, yes. All right. This is a question from our dear friend Timothy Paul, who's from Texas working in Asia. Was in China. Where are you at now, Timothy Paul? Let me see what is with that. Let me see what his question is. The pH paper, I used to test it every time, always shows as a alkaline. It trims as green as the ink. Okay. Are you checking your urine? Yep, you are. When his urine sees sediment in it, it is black and white, and there's mucus in it. So your urine is black and white? And that's a little odd, definitely. I don't know, Timothy Paul. Your urine can't be black and white. I mean, you could see some black pieces of stuff in there, I suppose. The mucus is important, but if you're always alkaline in your urine, what does it tell you? We just had a conversation with some clients the other day. The guy's had his prostate removed. His PSAs are still climbing. So, but his last two blood and urinalysis from the hospital show 8.5 urine. I don't care where you have a tumor. I don't care where you have swelling or what you would call inflammation. We call the acid buildup, the retention of acids. I don't care where you have this. That's going to be your symptomology. You know, when you think about this, all the word diseases really come down to is acidosis. 99% of the disease processes that the medical doctors have drummed up simply have acidosis as the initial cause. And it's just what tissue. Each tissue that you have a buildup of acidosis and you have an inflammatory response to that, you're going to know that, or maybe you won't even know that. You have a lot of that going on in the brain where you have cholesterol plaque, you don't even realize that. These generally take place in your weaker areas, in your genetically weakened areas. We talked a lot about this, but when the kidneys don't filter your PSAs, no matter what, because you're looking at antigens, you're going to see everything keep going. Filtration of the kidneys is the key to this whole thing. And sweating, proper elimination with proper ingestion of proper chemistry is the whole of this whole thing, how easy it is to be well. And how man, through the use of his mind, has complexed it to confusion. Man is totally confused. I talk to people and sometimes they just sit there confused. They don't even know. So man's lost a lot. The negative side of itself, pulling itself in like that. Well, And you just have to turn it around, you know. I want to read you this. I was going to start off with some questions, but let me see. This is from Mira. And I thought it's a really good case because this is her daughter. And she says, I'm a single mom that is fighting for my daughter's health. My daughter is 16 years old. She has Down syndrome, autism, and global development delay. At age 4 months and 5, she was developing fine. Then she stopped and developed. She got epilepsy. Well, I can tell you right off what system in your body already is involved with your daughter. The nervous system, right? And you're getting ready to allude to that. And so you also have to take in vaccines. You have to take in this whole understanding of neurotoxicity and what that means. You know, and that's on top. All right, that's on top of genetics. See, that's the problem. They're not thinking in that way. Each child that's born has to be the same level of health as the child before it, right? Hospital full of newborn babies, everyone starts out at the same level of health, right? I mean, that's how they act. When you treat everybody the same in that way, we treat everybody the same in terms of herbs, not in dosages. And we treat everybody the same because we're after the human body in its organs and glands, in its system structures. Because with the herbs, you're going to enhance and clean. With pharmaceuticals, you're going to suppress. She was given Sabril medication. Somebody told me to give her chicken fat, so I melted down and put it in a container and gave her 1 teaspoon per day. Where's we're going with this one? At age 2.5 years, she stopped having epilepsy. I was taking her to naturopath trying to find a cure. All right, so what's with the chicken fat? Acid, lipids. What is the lymph system? It's a lipid-based system, right? That's your sewer system. And it's a lipid-based system because it's more protective. Electrolytes are ionized too quick. So you need something a little more robust to deal with the acid side of chemistry. And of course, lipids will do quite well. And it's obvious because the lymphatic system is a lipid-based system. Intravenous glutathione, there we go. And a few other things that I don't remember now. Lots of our stuff was stolen. Wow, poor thing. Anyway, at age 6, she started to talk for the first time. So when you get cases like this, we're the first thing you're going to do. You're going to do upper circulation and brain and nerve right off. And I might say probably antispasmodic as well. It depends whether she's having seizures or epilepsy, that sort of thing. You're going to use the antispasmodic, work like Dilantin. It's an antispasmodic. And you could give an antispasmodic every half hour, every hour if you had to. Dosage thinking. Remember, size of the client. But you're going to hit upper circuit and brain and nerve right off. Where else are you going with Downs? Kidney and adrenals, big time. Where else? Pituitary. You're going to hit that. You're going to see the growth factors and understand. Pituitary. You're going to get up in here and start enhancing and rebuilding. And the herbs rebuild. The herbs have the consciousness. We don't know what the consciousness. The herbs have the consciousness to rebuild. Okay, so anyway, at age 6, she started to talk for the first time. And she got interested in books. She knew alphabet. Then, after a few months, she was robbed of all of that. She was in diapers until age 10. So we definitely her pituitary is down. So what else is down? Her colon, her GI tract. So you're going into this one. She's 16 years old now, so you've got a pretty good grown person. It'd be interesting to look at the size and everything else, the height and all this sort of thing. But you're going in and you're going to rebuild the nervous system and remove any neurotoxicity that could have been suppressing this young one all these years. And I might add that you're going to be looking at the parathyroid. Now I'll go on here a little bit. She was living most of the time with my ex and her girlfriend on the weekend with me. I was working, but every time she went back, she was crying. Well, I won't get into the personal stuff of that. 3 years ago, I put my daughter on Rivera protocol, and it helped. I've seen parasites coming, but she hit plateau. She went from ATEC attack 139 to attack score 90 and didn't improve more. We tried different diets called GAPS. She was eating even more meat 3 times a day. It's amazing. You have practitioners out there that call themselves healthcare practitioners. I mean, the protein is the first thing that goes besides the milks. I mean, this is the natural health field, is the true natural health field, the one we're in. High protein diets and dairy products are not part of that field. Matter of fact, the true natural health field isn't one that consumes meat. The true natural health field considers meat toxic, and of course it's acid forming as it is, and of course one-sided in terms of chemistry, as it is. So it's a one-sided chemical high protein compound that does nothing but leach calcium out of you, create acidosis and putrefaction, which then sets up and calls in the gnarly ones. Nothing healthy about dead tissue, to be honest with you, that I know of. All right. She was eating even more, 3 times. I changed her from a semi-fast, so I completely changed diet. No meat, no grains, no pasta, no potato. Now you're thinking, Mom. Now you're getting to thinking. This has been just over 3 months. Oh, 3 months ago, huh? That's not very long. And my daughter is doing better, and she will do better. Everybody does better. You might have some healing crisis, but everybody does better. She has been just over 3 months, and my daughter's doing better. She understands more. I also do mandatory enema 2 times per day, small one with MMS. God. All right. I'm glad you wrote me this and sent me. Now, we're going to go look at some eye picks, and do I have a real strong light here? Oh, maybe. Because you're giving her MMS, and she's loaded with sulfur already. So there's one thing your daughter is definitely full of, and that's fungus. You could give her parasite M for quite a while. But MMS and rectal implants, what are you doing? I mean, that's where you have the least absorption, basically water into the bladder from down there. What are you doing? And then you get up in your traces or micro traces way on up here, but your small bowel is what you want, and you're into the interstitial spaces. You're trying to just clean the mucosa. See, so you really want to get into your daughter. You can totally turn this child around. You see how easy it is? See how this daughter of hers responds real nice when the mom does the right things. So you just have to dig in and regenerate. This daughter will regenerate quite well, sounds like. But Nixay on the enemas and that, all that, you don't have to put your daughter through that level of uncomfortness, and especially with MMS. You want the highest level of healing you can get, and this is the doorway to it. Regenerative detoxification don't get no better. You already have tried all this, and you're still writing me. I also think I might mention that during pregnancy, I was eating steak like crazy. Craving or almost every day was a steak. Yuck. And if it wasn't natural, you had hormones, antibiotics, you had all kinds of stuff in that meat, didn't you? My daughter was eating mono fruit for breakfast. Then at lunch, I cooked vegetable soup, and I put sweet potato or squash and 0 oils. Then she doesn't eat anything. She drinks 2 liters of grape lemon juice. She loves it. Her last meal is at 1 p.m. At 5 p.m. she gets psyllium mix with half a teaspoon of bentonite clay and half a teaspoon of activated charcoal. She dry fasts 12 to 14 hours per day. She drinks a tea, many herbs, 1 cup morning, 1 cup before bedtime. Now, here's the list of the herbs. And I have to tell you right off. Let's see, I don't have his book. This is the cinchona bark. I think this is the same thing as Peruvian bark. If it is, you do not want to use this whatsoever. This could be very serious. This is high quinine, and this will suppress her nervous system. They touted at low dosage as a nerve regenerator, but it is not worth anybody ever consuming that herb. I went down heavily with it. That's what really started turning my hair white. I really went down. It is a major neural. I couldn't breathe. I actually almost died from it. So bad. The plantain is good. The ginkgo leaves are good. The nettle's good. The white willow bark, okay. The calamus root, okay. Catnip, okay. Burdock, excellent. Elderflower, okay. Herba ursa, okay. You got some more I'm unfamiliar with. Goticola, one of the best ones. Mullein, excellent. Shepherd's purse, excellent. Lobelia, excellent. Licorice root, excellent. Comfrey root, excellent. Fresh turmeric root, excellent. Ginger and fresh parsley leaf, excellent. But if I was you, honey, I wouldn't do this. I would get focused on our herbal formulas, and I would get focused on the body parts on your daughter. I'd get focused on the lymphatic system, on the GI tract. I'd get upper circ, brain and nerve. You can turn your daughter totally around with this. I wouldn't mess with the herbs like you're doing them. I would get formulas, and I would focus on systems of the body. You're far better off when you do that. I mean, they're all good. Except this cinchona, I big, huge caution to the wind on that one. That should come out of all the herb books. She says, I use essential oils, bathe, biomat that has crystals and heat up. Good deal. I use this every night as high setting. Well, this young lady is really working her daughter to get her daughter well. And you know what? This says a lot to Mira. I have to tell you, this is a mother that is a really big heart to her. This is a good mother here. She's trying everything she can to get her daughter well. I admire moms like this. So my hat's off to you, dear one. But I think you could do this better. I'm definitely against so much activated charcoal and bentonite clay because you've already, at this point, taken care of her GI tract somewhat. I would come off of that stuff. You only have so much absorption there. You want to get internally more, and you want to get into the lymphatic system more where neurotoxicity and things can be eliminated appropriately. So I would change the way I do things with her. I would definitely look the way we focus on that. And there's a reason for that. That the kidneys, the adrenals, the lymphatic system, the endocrine glands, because this is where you're going to really want to work on your daughters, the endocrine glands as well. Because a couple of things, that her growth and her urination problems are all pituitary problems. And of course, growth factors and everything else. And then there's the little old thymus gland that very few people understand either. And your daughter could do some thymus thumping. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see the condition of her thymus gland. All right, the concern that I have are, all right, she hits herself in the head area and she laughs. Way less than before, but ticks. You know, all right, I mean, you've got to get up in here. And another thing I would do is make sure you go take her to a really good chiropractor and have them look at her neck and her back, all right? Very important to keep that in, and I would work on the neurolymphatic points here. You got to get her kidneys filtering. I wouldn't dry fast her so much. You know, don't overdo things. Matter of fact, I would try to get her away from anything cooked for a while and see if you can get your daughter on 100% raw. Pull her out of the downs, get her body, her endo straightened up, and get her back on a decent life again. She is also pressing her fingers just below Adam's apple. Her thyroid is not that bad, sometimes on the border. She's sometimes a little bit over hypothyroid. But I have a feeling that could be pituitary suppressed. We did MRI May 2016, and she was lesions and cysts. Okay? So, no matter what the diagnosis, whether it's Downs, you don't let any of that kind of stuff freak you out, because as you're reading the mother explaining the symptomology of the child, what rings loud and clear? The lymphatic system and acidosis and neurotoxicity, right? Right. That's ringing loud and clear. And you'll see more of this as we go here. And I don't like cis. Okay, talking about the lymphatic system, lesions, talking about the lymphatic system. She says, I don't like this. Well, it's more than don't like this. This is serious crap. And the more lesions, the more she's going to break down her spine and nervous system. So no, 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 no. And that's all coming from acidosis. And it is a concert. Can this be corrected? Absolutely. Not can it. It has to be. All right? No, can it be? It has to be. All right? There's no such thing as can. We can do any of that stuff, but it has to be. And your husband needs to reel this video and get in on this, because only one suffering sounds like it's your daughter. And the mother here is doing everything she can and then some. Almost too much. Her nails have horizontal lines, so here again, we want to take a look at the where. So we're heavy into the, because now when you look at the growth and you're looking at all these factors, where are we going? We're going to the endocrine glands. And we look at the adrenals. We talk so much about the adrenals. And just get an A and go to Books A Million or somewhere and just buy a little A&P for idiots or something and just start reading it. And just read about the glands. It's just little basic stuff. Easy stuff. Just read me. And don't try to press it in and remember anything. And read it again. And read over it again, because we talk about it all the time. Pretty soon it'll be second nature to you. Be just like, what's that, adrenal transmitters in your steroids? Yep. I mean, that's how good you guys are getting. And listen, there's a parathyroid involved in this case here. So we know the pituitary's down, the parathyroid. Picture included. Okay, so we're going to look. We got pics here. Her kidneys are not filtering good. Well, probably yours are not either, Mom. You got to look at this. You got to look at yourselves, guys. When the parents write in, I still think of you guys too, because you had to give them that. So you got to look at yourselves and fix yourselves along with your children. She does pee, but I don't see residues. Yeah, she's not filtering. And I think I see skin pictures. Let me look here. In the past, she was drinking way too much water, like 3 to 4 liters a day. Her skin all over the body sometimes becomes plush. Veins and nails are bluish color too. Her digestive system is bad. Some fruit or vegetables comes out the same way as they come in. And her white blood count is low. Okay. Now, I'll tell you, sweetheart, you and your ex-husband need to get together and decide to get your daughter hooked in here to one of our counselors and let us clean up your daughter here. That'd be the best way, and I'm sure we can help you. Because you want to pull your daughter out of this. And the low white blood cells, that's not a good sign, okay? Because we're at spleen or bone marrow, all right? And you want to correlate white blood cells with your platelets, and that's all on your CBC with differential. That's your blood work. And it's called complete blood count, CBC with DIF. And if you look at that, it'll give you your monophils, basophils, all your immune cells. It'll give your whites, your reds, your hemoglobin, hematocrits, your self sizes, all of that. And your platelets. Well, you can almost correlate platelets with white blood cells because they both are spleen but produced in the bone marrow. So you got to detox this young lady. Get the spleen cleaned up because you get the blood circulating around her body more. It sounds like to me she doesn't have good pressures. And again, what's her blood pressure? How low is it? All these sort of things like this. You can take a look and correlate, even though it doesn't matter because you know where you're going after this person. It doesn't matter what the stats are. It just shows you how bad the case is or how not bad it is. So there's no question that you have to pick her pancreas. because she's not breaking down her carbohydrates. So when you see undigested fruit or vegetables in your stool, that's not good. That's your main digestive organ. And that also goes for amino acids, because you use the trypsin and chymotrypsin, and you use the bicarbonate. So the pancreatic duct and the pancreas, big deals. Big deals. So again, these are all big deals. And this child should be living on fruits, berries, and melons, period. Maybe with some green drinks. Parsley, dandelion green, stuff like that. An occasional soup, maybe. Okay, so that's important that we work on that white blood cell count. That's leukemia. Their words, leukemia, when whites get crazy, platelets get crazy, like they throw that word out real quick. She sleeps 11 to 13 hours per day. Well, she's adrenals, I'm sure, are extremely low. Downs are major kidney and adrenals. Tired, her body is seeking for heat. Well, what's that? Hypothyroidism. So what I see is I don't even look at the eyes yet, but I see a pituitary down. It's and at least the thyroid, parathyroid, and adrenals are down, either from the pituitary or they're down on top of the pituitary being down. But that's what we're seeing in today's world out there, guys. These young bodies being produced are in hell of a shape, and we got to get them better, or the adventure here is ending. Sometime I hear her at night. She hit herself in the head or cries, and I don't know what is wrong. Well, you know what I say?
No. N-O.
Trust, many times I cry and ask, yeah, I bet. I bet. Oh well. Don't want to read any more of that. Now, let's see. See that orange around the pupil? Yeah, looks like a lot of orange to me. Now, this could be brown. If this is brown, my dear one, around her pupil, that's chronic lymph. Then her lymph nodes are swollen. She got the lymphatic rosary, guys. So she's got the lymph nodes are swollen. She looks like she got good genes. Really hard for me to see into her body here. I mean, she did real good to get a picture like this. But really hard for me to see. Oh, real hard. Keep trying to get me a better pics and see what you can come up. I can't even hardly see the fibers on this child. Okay, but you can see that orange right, or brown. So she has a chronic GI tract, chronic sinuses. She's got radius solaris going up, emanating in the brain. Let me see. This is the left eye. Definitely pituitary. There we are, guys. Pituitary's down. Pineal's down. Amazing. She's sleeping. Yeah. Look at her skin. Look at her skin. Okay. Yeah, major lymph. There's major lymphatic problems, sweetheart. I'll say that to a certain extent. Her lymph nodes are all swollen. She has high sulfur, which means she has high fungus. If you've already seen worms, I would get her on our protocol, deworm her. Deworm her, defungal her. She's got a big, large skin ring around her, so she's not sweating well. Then that's going to take us over to the thyroid. Well, we already know she's got things in the thyroid, parathyroid. We know the pituitary. We see the pituitary. And it looks like right ear, right cerebellum. hard to see in this. Frontal lobe left side full of congestion, lymph stagnation here, chronically so. Yep. Gotten stuff out of her already. We're sewage dumps, and then when we eat dead animals on top of it, dead animals are already dead. So you know what happens to dead things in nature. So if you don't want to see worms and all that stuff in you, don't eat the dead things. Because all the live things are anti-parasitic. Yeah, okay. Real red tongue too. So anyway, I didn't know whether you wanted this to be read up on YouTube. Doesn't matter, it's too late. It already is, sweetheart. But you really needed to tell the world a little more about your case here, and also how you can turn around Down syndromes. But you see what's wrong with the Down syndrome here? See the things that led to all that? Major neurotoxicity, all of this sort of things. Her pituitary's down, her parathyroid or thyroid's down, or her adrenals down, and we might want to check on the thymus gland. I would definitely be working up in the head. I'll tell you something. When you've got a child like this, you want to work on them appropriately. You get a bunch of herbs and give it to them, and give them enemas all the time with MMS. And you don't have to do all that kind of stuff. It's easier to get focused on the proper regimen, the proper diet for nerve regeneration, because you're into nerve regeneration. You got to get rid of the ticks. You're into spine regeneration because ticks generally happen up from the C2 down in that area up here. So you know all of this you want to just clean and rebuild. You can see from the skin, you can see the lymphatic problems, you can see the kidneys are not filtering, you can see the pituitary issues in this case, the lack of growth, urination until 10, bed, that sort of thing. Then when you look at the eyes, that is either orange around her pupil and in the lymph nodes, or it is brown. Brown is going to be chronic. Worse than sulfur in my opinion, because you're at the chronic levels of lymph stagnation, and that's chronic. So there's malabsorption going on here. A lot of things. I can't see anything else on these eye picks because it's not good enough. But you can really see you can see the head area pretty good. You can see the GI tract. Look at her skin. Yeah, it's all lymph. But you've got nervous system. It's hard to see whether she has nerve rings or not. I didn't really see any, but it's hard to see that. And if she doesn't, you know immediately it's neurotoxicity. The epilepsy and all that, you know immediately neurotoxicity. And where would you get that from? AMA. Hi, Lisa. Hi, honey. You know, these are older emails, and I'll have them give me a stack of newer ones here coming up. Just now getting things around. Hopefully, I got a training this afternoon. I have a training every Friday for the counselors and their assistants, and so I got to whip them. Now, we got some pretty good counselors, you have to admit. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Thank you. I have 25 from Ireland. My dear friend Maggie from Ireland, I need to say hi. I have an unbearably itchy rash all over. You know, and that, I hate that. I had this she was a female firewoman, down in Naples. Oh, that poor thing. When she started detoxifying, her skin just broke out all over. And she just, you know, you get itchy until the skin comes off, until you bleed. And it's because we're so full of fungus. You know, and it's just full of fungus. So I recommend, you know, there is some things for itching on the skin. We sell creams, we sell lotions. I mean, it is on the market. There's itch stuff on the market, and chickweed's an anti-itch. Then you can bathe in it and stuff. But you know, I do Parasite M, at least a dropper and a half, 4 times a day. At the same time, I'm moving lymph because that's the sewer system. That's where you're going to see most of the fungal problems anyway. So you want to really get the kidneys filtering. You really move that lymph system. That'll help clean any toenail, fingernail, any of that stuff out, because you got to get the sewer system going. And at 25, you're going to have sewer system problems. Isn't it funny that A 25-year-old can have more sewer system problems than, say, a 90-year-old. Genetics. Genetic weaknesses can kick our butts. I've had eczema since I was born. Yep. You're full of fungus too. But to have eczema, what has to be down, guys? Think about this. The adrenal glands. Well, why? Well, they sit on top of the kidneys, right? And they control the kidneys, right? Right. All right? So you have two things to think about. Dopamines, acetylcholines, and, of course, your sodium potassiums and whatever steroids involved in that. And the kidney and the potassium issues. So you got steroids affecting kidneys that we don't even know about. When God puts an endocrine gland right on top of an organ, they go together. They're brother and sister, man and wife, however you want to look at it. They're stuck together. So intimately and forever need each other. And to think not would be unawareness. I'm vegan. I'm transitioned to raw, mostly fruits. I've had anxiety. See, here we go. Now we kept picking up the other adrenal problems. Because when your adrenals are down, there goes the kidneys. Well, then here comes just look at the adrenals for a minute. You've got 25 or 24 mineral corticosteroids. So you have your mineral utilization. Most of it requires adrenal power. How about the autonomic nervous system? Particularly the sympathetic. You need neurotransmitters for the autonomic nervous system, adrenals. And it just goes on and on. Neurotransmitters, that's how you breathe, you poop, you run, you fight, you sleep, you poop, you pee. Everything's neural. Everything is neurologically anyway. That's why you always never forget that system. That's why I always stick everybody on brain and nerve. Because brain and nerve, in my opinion, number 2, we're eliminating number 1, so we're only going to have one anyway. Not that it doesn't work, we just have so many formulas. I'm bad about that, but you know what? We got a lot of cases, and I'm going to make sure I have some of the best formulas I can come up with. And it's not for anything more than to get you better quicker. You know, I mean, that's trying to get the ultimate formulas to help people to get through these things quicker and better and less symptomology and stuff like that. Okay. So, highly recommend you go all fruits, berries, and melons. Do your 40-day grape and lemon fast if you want to, honey. You need to do stuff like that. Get these kidneys filtering, do some dry fast 24 hours, and really get this stuff opened up. Because you got to clean the skin. You're 25 now. And you don't want to get any older having this because it's going to chew on your brain, it's going to chew on your heart, it's going to chew on your lungs. Because remember, this is systemic. Systemic means head to toe. When your lymph system's down, it's a system. It's a systemic system. It's a sewer system to all the cells. But you have two sides to it. Oh, yeah. You got the right and you got the left. But then you got the right kidney and you got the left kidney. I was watching Inside Edition and had this real compassionate story about a husband whose kidneys fit the wife. The wife already has lost one kidney and the other one is cystic and down to only 20%. So the husband now is going to give one of his sides up for her. When people have to learn how to go in and repair and rebuild the tissue you already have. Because by compromising yourself by giving up one of your kidneys is not smart. I dig the compassion, I dig the love, but tomorrow they could be divorced. Here's something else. She's had anxiety for years, pulling us right back down to where? The adrenal glands. Remember, the adrenals is the astral or the emotional component of yourself. Right? It's also breathing and therefore anxiety-ridden. When you can't breathe, you talk about anxiety? Okay. Different than depression. So anxiety is an adrenal gland issue, but you're 25 years old, and I would already assume, and it's a good assumption. You know, in law, you're not supposed to assume anything, but all we do in law is assume. That's how corrupt everything has gotten. All right, irregular late periods. We know immediately. Where does that take us immediately, Lisa? Right up here to the pituitary gland. Definitely. So that also tells us you have some chronic bowels going on, probably. All right, but you have a chronic eczema. So when you look at that, you have chronic bowels, your kidneys aren't filtering, and your skin's backed up. All fits, and it's almost a triangle. But now, because the bowels are up, the head's going down. So you got to fix that. Get on your GI tract. I do the female reproductive formula, but I would definitely go after the pituitary gland. Now there is herbs in the female reproductive formula for the pituitary. Chase tree. Chase tree berry is a berry, and it's also, I have it in my endocrine gland formula. Vitex. She's underweight. So what we have here is we have a pituitary down. We have a pituitary down probably because of chronic bowels. So she's underweight because of the chronic bowels, and now we have malabsorption pictures. See how all this is starting to fit? You should be able to take someone and just rattle that right off, what they're going on with them. Let me tell you what's going on with you. And I want to get you all to where you can do that. So you all be healers. I mean, that's cool stuff. Because no one else is helping you, are they? You help yourself. And we'll be glad to stand there with you. All right, poor sleep. So now, we've already talked about the pituitary. We know the transverse colon is definitely involved. You can't have a pituitary without some transverse involved. What else is almost always involved? The pineal gland. Insomnia, can't rest well, can't meditate well. Pineal, that's right up there with the pituitary, gets beat up the same way. So the pineal's down. So I do a pineal granular until I got all this cleaned up, sinus drained, everything moving and on again. I would do a pineal granular. 1 or 2 caps, 1 or 2 hours BS before sleep. And then when you get everything going, come off of that. No melatonin, please. Make your pineal produce melatonin. Swollen lymph nodes. Well, we knew immediately, right? Because why? The eczema already told us her lymph system shut down. Already. By skin and kidneys. So when you see any type of skin problem, guys and girls, your lymph system is down. You're not sweating well or filtering well through the kidneys. And this is also endocrine gland driven. Skin, thyroid, kidneys, adrenals. The swollen lymph nodes in the groin and armpit. No, girl. No, you go on and get this done. Now, when you start getting swollen lymph nodes under here, I mean, and I do this for a reason. I do this for a big reason. Swollen lymph nodes under the arm, not good. That's breast cancer at its worst. And I've got other beautiful pictures a lot of you get to see when you come to school. Some of the ones we pulled that ended up being quite large. So, I have to tell you, you ladies, you get swollen lymph nodes under your arm, you go immediately and put yourself on great fasts and get yourself on kidney formulas, adrenal formulas, and get them down. It's just not worth all the stuff we see here and what you ladies go through. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Sore, stiff shoulders and neck. What could that be? Oh, same stuff that causes the eczema? Same stuff that's cutting down the pituitary and the What's that? Sewage, lymph. Your lymph system isn't filtering. This is all lymphatic. This is all acidosis. That's what stiffness, tightness. Oh, that's on acidosis. That's the side of chemistry that gives you. That's a lymph stagnation. So that immediately tells you your kidneys aren't filtering, your adrenals are down, but you're 25 years old. Genetics dictate. That's what we're seeing. You guys and gals that are young are just seriously involved in genetic weaknesses. Honey, you got a friggin' laundry list of stuff. Well, here's another one for you guys. Scoliosis. Well, kind of goes with the stiff neck and stuff because the lymph system goes up the spine, right? That's the neurolymphatic point you work on, right? So when that kind of just pulls your spine right out. So I'm looking at pituitary, I'm looking at thyroid, parathyroid. I'm going after all your endocrine glands like crazy, but I'm also going after your lymphatic system. You have a mess. So yeah, that scoliosis will pull itself straight, but you've got to get yourself on 100% raw. You got enough here, you want to do 100% raw, like yesterday, Lisa. And 100% fruits, berries, and melons. You got too many lymph nodes swollen and everything else to mess with the vegetables. Pain, excuse me. Pain on weak side of back. Weak side of back. Which side is that? That'd be your weakest kidney side. That'd be the side you're not filtering on. Receding gums. I'm just telling you guys, that's what stagnation of acids do. They chew on your gums, they suck the calcium out of your teeth. I mean, acids, acids, acids. They'll suck you dry of your electrolytes, your calciums. They'll make you wrinkly and go back into fetal position and harden you up like a rock. And then you'll get little swelling and bumps and humps as tumors and leprosy stuff and everything else. Tonsils removed at 19. There we go. More lymphatic junk. Mother has, oh, there you go. Mother has RA. So I'll have to tell you, the chances are that you have high sulfur in your body. You got to get a picture of your eyes and take a look at it. But the chance of you having sulfur in your body is high. I've said this over and over. All the RA, and that's, you know, that's why I work with the bodybuilders, because these poor guys get gals, they get RA heavily from high proteins. Her mother had rheumatoid arthritis and Sjogren's, so Rash is ruining my life. What can I do? You can do regenerative detoxification because it's more than getting rid of the rash. Let's talk a little more seriously, son. You have a little more serious things going on than just a rash. That's your sewer system. That's easy to take care of. Might not be fun going up and down and getting all that out of you, but you got some other serious stuff to think about. Scoliosis, your pituitary's down, your menses is down. These are all down. Whether you can hold to have children or not, that's another story. Because when you're a woman like this, when your periods are irregular, you don't conceive well, you don't hold well. It's easy to turn all this around, but you got to work on the where? Pituitary. And you got your endos are down, you have poor sleep, that's a pineal. So you really got some things to work on there, kiddo, and get yourself moving. So I get up on 100% fruits, berries, and melons, get on a herbal program that takes in all of these areas we're talking about, or get on ours, get yourself moving. But you want to look at, you're one of those that have to look at the pituitary gland. You have to do that. So about your second or third month, I would put pituitary, adrenal with licorice, herbal-wise. Over here on the glandular side, I would do a parathyroid, 50 milligrams, 2-3 times a day, TID. And you could hitchhike a bones formula with that. Might not hurt. But just give it time to pull this back straight. But you've got to work on kidney filtration. Check your urine. Make sure. Look at what we showed you about... what did I do with hers? I don't want to lose it. Heidi's stuff. That's what you want. And look at where Heidi's, I mean, Heidi's just beyond kicking butt. I want you guys, some of you guys like Heidi, I want you to remember, guys, balance. I get when you've been down like Heidi to hell and you lived there for a lot of years, not realizing there was any hope or remedy for you ever, and then you got it. I can dig going after it like crazy. I can dig that. But I still want you guys to remember balance. Marcy got her butt kicked by digging too deep. So be careful. But dig. Tristan Earl? Wow. Message. Hi, I would like to submit a YouTube question for Dr. Morse on my health concerns. I'm a massive fan. Oh, thanks, son. And I am ready to dig in and detoxify. I am 36 with 4 kids, and I want to be about for them as long as possible. How would I submit it best? Oh, Tristan from the UK, London. To me, but they got no question. 4 kids, 36 years old. You know, no matter what you see, remember this. Think of the body as a house. All right? You've got different rooms. You've got different organs and glands. All right? Now, the glands, that controls everything. Each gland controls systems. And if you looked at it as systems in the house, each of your tissues are involved in systems. But if you look at the rooms, you're basically your organs. Your glands control everything, so basically they're the distributors of whatever. It would be like if you had an electronic pad in your house and it's controlled completely by this electronic pad. Everything, doors closed, opens, toilets flushing, everything's done through the endocrine glands. Right? So now, you also have sewer systems that come around, and you've got water systems. So you have to realize that each room has to be, if you're looking at this room as a living being, like a cell, you've got to get food to each room, you've got to feed the people of the room, and then you've got to be able to remove the waste from those people of the room. So you've got water pipes going, or nutritional pipes, or blood vessels going everywhere, and you have sewer pipes going everywhere. Everywhere you have blood vessels, you have sewer pipes. They're like a house. They follow each other. Different rooms might have them. In your body, each room has the same. So around all your cells are blood and lymph. So your fluids are a big deal in taking care of your cells. The fluids are totally controlled by your dietary habits. Your day-to-day chemistry interfaces directly with your fluids and controls the nature and the viscosity and everything else you want to deal with dealing in fluids. And not to understand that is unconsciousness, extreme. And when you have a modality that doesn't look at that drums us this concept of diseases and doesn't consider chemistry and physics in the equations of symptomology, that's a problem. And so it's a problem that has to be woke up, because you can no longer deny the chemistry you're consuming doesn't have effect on you, because it does. Like the fuel you burn in your car. And guess what? You have multiple grades. Remember Sunoco? You could dial in your grade you wanted. That was pretty cool. But each type of food has a different grade. The optimum premium fuel for the human body is fruits and berries. That's the optimum fuel nutritional wise. Melons are great. But optimum nutrition and energetics is fruits and berries. Now that's the optimum fuel to burn even for omnivores. Dogs, hogs, chickens, bears. Not proteins. There's no animal vertebrae except carnivores that focus on high protein diets. None of them. Not one of them. Except man. And look at the problems we're having. All our other animal friends do not even think that way. See, so, and we're the furthest you can get from carnivores. Well, herbivores are actually. Herbivores are the furthest away. We're the second furthest away. Hey, Brooke. Hey, honey. Hello, Dr. Morse. I love your videos. They are full of... Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I love you for that. Thanks a lot. And I appreciate you sharing it. I babysit this little 10-year-old girl, and she just got diagnosed with pseudo-obstruction. With pseudo-obstruction. And is in constant pain. Pseudo-obstruction of what? Where? I was wondering if she would be able to cure that and how. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, remember, all this is obstructive in the first place. Good question. Remember, all this is obstructive in the first place. You know, when you start irritating the mucosa, whether it's hot candy or cinnamon or cayenne pepper, I mean real hot cinnamon, like liquid cinnamon, you get what? Let's see if I can get enough up. Come on. That's what you get. You get the mucus. And what do you do? Where's that mucus come from? It comes from the mucosa. So when your body, that's part of your immune system. So when you consume chemistry your body doesn't want, you immediately feel mucus from it. You feel it in your throat, rocking and rolling and stuff like that. I've always said if you really want to hear that, go to an ice cream place, ice cream parlor, whatever they call them, and just sit and listen. Just sit and listen to them looking. All the time. So when it's mucus forming, it's foreign. We call it foreign protein, but it's foreign to the human body. It might be a food that another animal can eat, but it's foreign to your body as a species because it creates mucus. Now, if you like the mucus, then you're going to love cold and flu-like symptoms, bronchitis, pneumonia, those sort of things. And masses and tumors. You know, if you like mucus, that's what you get for that. So, Arnold Ehret, of course, came out with the mucus diet healing system because he observed that when he detoxified people, mucus came out. And you're talking about obstruction. Well, we are generally talking about a protein obstruction, which is an acidic obstruction. Add to that, then, the massive amount of cellular metabolitic waste that are produced daily from each cell. You know, each cell is going to eat and poop, just like all you little kids out there. Each cell in your body, you got 100 trillion of them roughly, each cell eats and poops. So where does cell poop go? Acids. Where does cell poop go? Back into the kitchen? Anybody ever put their poop in the kitchen? Not on your life. And to think so, I don't know. Man, kind of slipped down a little on that level. My feeling there. So I don't know what, Brooke, this pseudo-obstruction is, what that means. Pseudo means false, fake. Obstruction means obstruction. But pain is a sign of acidosis. It can be obstructive in nature from a mucus buildup, a tumor buildup, a cyst buildup, but it's always acidosis, always. So this child is having acidosis. So at 10 years old, just put him on a fruit and berry melon diet. Maybe throw him a little soup or a little green drink once in a while, but, you know, for a couple of months, detoxify him. Give him a little, since it's 10, you know, kidneys and adrenals, so give him a little basic Fab 4 or 5, clean him up, pull the pain right out of him, and you'll be good. Or take a picture of the eye and see how bad this really is and see what pseudo-obstruction is. I mean, the name doesn't even fit. Pseudo, fake, okay, false, obstruction, where, what, okay. False obstruction, there's pain, so there's something obstructive, but generally acids, when it's pain, pressure maybe, but that's all lymphatic stuff. You don't get that from blood, you know, because the base side doesn't act that way. Only your acid side creates agglomeration. Everything starts sticking, and of course, rapidly creating ionization, which meaning sucking the electrolytes out of, or the electrons out of your electrolytes, if you were consuming them. See, people mostly eat cooked dead foods and high protein foods, so very low electrolyte foods. So it sucks you dry. You know, that's the problem. You could get by with some dead animal eating if you had big salads and fruits. You know, have big fruit breakfast and maybe a salad for lunch with maybe a little piece of fish or chicken, and then maybe a fruit nightly snacks or another salad. You could get by with doing that in your life and stay quite healthy. But you want to fix what your problem is first, because if you don't fix it, nothing gets better. And if you're not filtering, it's a runaway train. If you're not filtering, it's just a matter of time, and you're all going to go down. Just like I'm going to go down. We'll all go down if we don't filter. So we got to filter, right?
No!
Yes! They need a yes button. Thank you, Brooks, for your comments. Love you, dear one. But this is the problems that we have. We're obstructive. And it's, I mean, I don't know what to say. People's sinuses are impacted, their bronchi impacted, their lungs are impacted. They've got mucus in the liver, mucus in the pancreas. Everywhere's got mucosa. So when you start irritating the mucosa, and what cytochemistry irritates the mucosa? Acid. There's only two sides to pick from. How simple can we get? See, so don't let chemistry fool you. It's not as complicated as you think. It can get a tongue twister, but mostly you're going to be into the world of theories up at those levels. And when you get into theories, it's like, all right, you got the Horowitz theory of zetas, and then you got all of this, and it's like, oh, okay. You know, it's just keeping it simple is the great thing to do. You know, we complex things way too much, and when it comes to health, at least, you have to simplify this. This is a resubmission. Okay. All right, let me get this. Oh, this is Katya. Thank you always. Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks for writing in, honey. However, I still have a few questions I wanted to ask you. All right, let's see. Number one, what are moles and warts exactly? Part of the fungal family. And they love people with what? Weak adrenal glands. So when you see someone with moles and warts on them, what could you assume that is not taking place? Proper sugar metabolism right out of the adrenal glands. And if you don't metabolize your sugars properly, what do you get? You get fermentation, you get fungal problems, and of course mold and warts start growing on you. And of course people love starch. Starch is complex. Remember, complex chemistry is really unavailable to the human body. It goes through processes to break it down. All the processes yield acids, and then, of course, complexity yields acids. So you either have complex structure of amino acids, which are called proteins, or you have a complex structure of carbon, which we call sugars, which we call starch. Starch is not good for the body, and neither are proteins. Sorry, amino acids are what the body needs, not proteins. And if people haven't gotten that by now, we just throw the word protein out when we really mean you need protein. But what I really mean is you need amino acids. Well, why don't you say what you really mean in the first place? A long time ago, I heard that moles are just pockets of toxic blood. Not on your life. Matter of fact, they can get tentacles sucking down in you like, ooh, this is good. That the body is trying to store away from the vital organs. Toxic blood? No. No. There's no storing away toxic blood. Whoever come up with that one, I hope that wasn't a medical doctor. Holy crap. That's not good. No. Blood cleans itself through the spleen. And where kidneys, more through the spleen, believe it or not, than the kidneys. Then everything goes from the kid to the kidneys. But whoever told you that's not right. What is your knowledge of moles and warts? As you said, it is a sign of fungus, but what exactly do they form? What do you mean? They can get pretty big. You know, it's a family affair. It's a family affair. What can I say about it? But if you take Parasite M long enough, they'll start falling off. That's what you want to do. Or you can zap them with nitrogen or whatever, but you can use black salve on them, but they'll leave a hole. So they're organisms. I mean, they live on you. You know, we make the great hosts that we are, but whenever you see someone heavy mold up, you'll see the kidney bags more and more with them. You'll see all the signs that go with it. But it's adrenal glands. You say that if someone has problems metabolizing carbs, they have a pancreatic weakness. That's an adrenal. I know on the test it says pancreatic, and it can be in the sense of type 1. But it's also the adrenal glands as well. So I have that on the test because of type 1. So you've got the pancreas and the adrenal glands are both at issue when it comes to moles and warts. Also, you say that adrenals deal with sugar metabolism. Seems like carbs and sugars are the same thing. You have simple and you have complex. So if I say to you that a vegetable is a protein, you would say it's not a protein. Well, sure it is. I'm talking about the amino acid structure in it. That's a protein. A fruit is a protein. The amino acid structure of a fruit is a protein. All right, see what I'm saying? So when you're talking about sugars, you have different sugars. You have simple sugars, which is your 3. Your galactose, which is your milk sugars, simple sugars for babies. Your fruit sugars are simple sugars, fructose, and then you have vegetable sugars, simple sugars. Those are the sugars meant for man to eat. We then learn how to complex things and make grains and things like this, which is way too much sugar for man, creates fat, acid forming, high phytic acids, hard to digest. Can we go on? And then if you take the nutrition out and you just have the gluten, gluten is a glue. So now we've glued our bowels up with white flour. We've created mucoid plaque all over the place, bowel pocketed all over the place with white flour paste and proteins. So it's just a mess. You know, when you're talking about carbohydrates, you're talking, starch is another word, but it fits within the carbohydrate. In other words, if you say a carbohydrate's a starch, it's the other way around. A starch is a carbohydrate. But a complex one. And the more complex you are consuming, the more complex chemistry you need to break it down. And if your adrenals are on the weaker side, and you're running low with cortisols and all the other steroids involved in metabolism, particularly sugar metabolism, then you're going to have an incomplete sugar metabolism, and particularly when you have so much sugar. And this is true on through the body with all the digestion issues. So what's the difference between the role adrenals and pancreas have dealing with sugars and carbs? All right, so your adrenals deal with sugar metabolism, and your pancreas deals with insulin, which is required for glucose. Because glucose is a little inferior than fructose. Fructose does not require insulin. I don't care what anybody says. We have proof. We've told you this before. All our type 1s we try to get them all on fruit. When you do, few days of glucose playing and stuff, everything goes down pretty good. That's the only level that you can be a type 1 at and enjoy sugars, because there's no insulin needed. So insulin is a component needed as a carrier. It's a hormone carrier for your glucose. Now, let's say you have a lot of starch and your insulin is real low. Now you have a lot of glucose with low insulin, so you have a low carrier with high amount of glucose. So now you have a glucose loading. So then you're either converting to glycogen, or you see what happens. And then, of course, that whole system then involved in ketosis and stuff. Estrogen in tofu or other soy products. They inspire estrogenic sites. They're estrogenic exciters. How does it damage us, especially women? It doesn't damage you. Now, soy is acidic on top of that. So when you're eating soy products, you're eating high acid bean. But you're also eating a bean that is one of the highest in phytic acid, enzyme inhibitors. So you have and of course, even after it sprouts, it's one of the my dad, we were all farmers. I think we grew soybeans, but our dad didn't like them at all. Considered them, very inferior. But and that's what I think. I think Monsanto saw a good chance to hybrid and then sell it back to the health food people because people are so gullible. I mean, look at what's going on with the elections and how bad that is. And there's no reason for that. People don't understand what's going on here. And so that's part of the problem. People are so gullible, they'll buy into these soy products and crap. No, but soy stimulates estrogenic sites, so it can create excessive estrogen in the body. Well, most women have estrogen dominance in the first place, but estrogen is acidic. So soy is acidic in its components. It stimulates estrogenic sites, which is acidic in its components. So it just inspires more acidosis. Well, acidosis on top of acidosis yields you more pain, more swelling, more tumors. You don't want to live in that world. That's the world of medical thinking. They just pull you deeper to hell. No. You got to wake up to that and get on the other side of chemistry. It's sitting there waiting for you. How does cramping work exactly? I understand that if you are acidic and the body pulls calcium out of your tissues, you will cramp. Well, don't you? Well, yeah. Well, it's spasms. You know, acids inflame and spasm. You know, everything is kept in balance, so nerve performance is in balance. I don't know, explain the exact action to that. Pat might for you. But as soon as you lose the calcium, which is the electrolytes, then you have the acid. They're corrosive. So anything that's a corrosive creates spasticity, all kinds of excitivity, and then eventually death. Thank you very much, Doc. My friends and I are very happy. We found your channel. Love you guys. We've been transitioning into being fruitarians, but our goal is transitioning into naturally, resolving all of our desires for, it'd be nice, getting cooked food. Oh, this, Katya, Rich and Terry. Go, guys. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to a lot of these things. You can really dig in, but it's all good to know anyway. But when you're acidic, when you start consuming these proteins, when you start bringing those electrolytes down, that tissue is just so vulnerable for cramping and spasticity. And I guess it's just the nature of acids, you know. And it just shows you the essential need to have electrolyte balance, to have the base dominance in a chemical equation, in terms of the healthy blowback from that, in terms of congestion or ingestion for humans. Our fuel has to be regular gasoline, but a little more high test, because we are neurologically at the highest level of the vertebrates. So we need high test. Well, there's only one food that comes high test, and that is your fruits and your berries. That's high test. And electrical. Remember, it's more than chemistry. It's electricity. That's why you see such a great nerve kick when you go on fruits and berries. Your nervous system starts getting good. Let me see. This is Michelle. I asked a while ago about, oh my God, eclampsia. I don't know a lot about that myself. Happens during some pregnancies for a friend of mine, but would like to give some more symptoms. Good deal. Because I don't know a lot about that, man. Since this is unfamiliar to a lot of people. Absolutely. It is. During her pregnancy, she has a rapid fluid and swelling retention, edema. I think 10 to 20 pounds overnight. Damn. As well as most symptoms, including a rapid blood pressure rise, leading to headache, swelling, and increased risk of seizure, stroke, or organ failure. Well, it sounds like that this is swelling in the head area, like in the cerebellum or something, you know. And it could be, again, the child laying down on the adrenals or something, or a nerve reflects back to the brain. All right, along with this, there's protein in the urine and often kidney damage. You know, you might want to look at it the reverse. You know, because sometimes medical doctors talk in reverse. Like that disease or that problem causes kidney damage. You might find that actually it's the kidney damage that's the problem, and that's why the retention, because pregnancy doesn't cause kidney damage. But the dietary habits in the person who is pregnant could already have these weaknesses exacerbated by pregnancy. No question about it. And of course, positional issues with the fetus can cause, you ladies don't know that already, but then again, this sounds it can be also very steroidal or hormonal, because you have that kick to the pituitary, the parathyroid, and all that as well. And so when you take a look at this, you have a rapid increase in blood pressure. I mean, this could come out of the pituitary gland, especially if you're getting swelling and headaches out of that. Now, there's another place you could think of that comes to my mind. Where else could you go that could cause you headaches? You could get swelling. It could raise the blood pressure, could affect the heart. Solar plexus, the autonomic brain, stomach problems, GI tract problems in her. She's already got chronic kidney problem because pregnancy doesn't cause kidney damage. But my guess is she's born genetic kidneys, of course. That's where you see the protein in the urine, of course. And you could, obviously this is involved in extreme acidosis. So you know she's pregnant under an extreme acidosis sky. Now, what affects the fetus and the way that lays, how it affects the vertebrae, to see the immediate retention of that much fluid and stuff. But that's what you expect when you see kidney failure. And again, you could see any effectual with the adrenals, positional. My take is always the same. You're going after this mother in her state of health and wellness, and you're going to start with the kidney and adrenal glands always. But my guess is that she already is in kidney damage and kidney failure, and that's why you're seeing it, and that the pregnancy has just exacerbated all these problems, and especially if the fetus is sucking her calcium out, and she's not putting it back properly. You could also see a rapid increase in these failures. So that'd be another place you could think about is the parathyroid gland. When I'm going after a case like this, I'm going to go after everything. Because some of these are so bizarre, you're not quite sure because what could be there. Another thing, I'd love to see the eyes to this case. See, in the eyes of this case is definitely going to be another way. It's going to take you right into her endocrine glands. You're going to take her into her kidneys. There's going to be no joke then. No guesswork then. Because her eyes is a roadmap. And you can see the condition she's in. So that would be a better take, is get a picture of her eyes and start taking a look at it, what she's up against carrying. And risk of seizure, stroke, or organ failure. See, someone used the word before, obstructive. So that's what you're going to use in this case. Somehow something is becoming obstructive. Now, I'm saying it already, this person's kidney weakness, I can tell you already. They don't get kidney failure from this. But that can lead to all these other failures. It can. And especially if the endocrine glands start going down, then all the systems are going down with it. They take it down with it. So I'd be looking at her endocrine glands. I'd be looking at her GI tract, of course, in relationship thereof. And I'm also going deep into the kidney and adrenal glands and getting this case filtering. Along with this, there's protein in the urine and often kidney damage. Got that. And of course, I'm going to say that look at the other way around. Sometimes, again, like I said, medical doctors think the diseases are the cause, and then, of course, the diseases causes the kidney failure and everything else, when in fact the disease is just a name they gave on a condition that comes out of kidney failure and all this other stuff. That is more truth and more appropriate and more proper in your thinking. With that, thoughts. That's them. Right there. Also, thank you so much for taking time to answer questions and put them on. Oh, you're welcome. This is where I have a lot of fun now. I have a lot of fun with you guys. I've seen so many people through the years that, it's a lot. If you've ever seen people and you get to the level where everybody's so chronic, it wears on you. It brings you down and, it just wears on you. Wears on your sensitivity. That's why I'm a little sensitive sometimes, because man is in serious trouble and you see it everywhere, and then you see it in the kids and the pictures, and after a while it gets you, But that's why we're here, to be strong and help these people get their lives back and change the nature of this world and make it a happy place. It's just creation anyway. But its effect is on your consciousness. Because that's all you'll take from this, is your awareness from you. When you leave this rock, you're only taking your awareness with you, right? Right. So this is actually all for your awareness and what you've learned and how you deal with yourself. And I'm giving you little clues how to break away from that and understand who created all this more. And you'll never understand that using your mind and emotional bodies. Can't. So, when you pull away from your physical body, you run into your emotional body. That's your astral body. Now, pull away from your emotions, become detached from the things of this world, and now you're into the mind, into thoughts. detach from thinking, stop thinking, and you're out of your mental body now, and you're into consciousness. Well, you got one more. You're into the id. You're into your ego. It's such a thin line between the now and mind, not thought. The mind and consciousness, that's the thin line of individuality that gives you as an individual, me as an individual, from all of consciousness. And everything has it that manifests in creation, including the plants and flowers I'm looking at. Everything has it. Can't get down to these lower levels or out to these lower levels without that. So, Michelle, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm thinking you're going to detoxify this lady and get her cleaned up. But I can tell you that she probably already has kidney weakness. Genetics, I mean, come on, that's what we're seeing, right? The adrenals are down. She could have anything else. It could be affecting her spinal cord. She might want to look at a chiropractor, make sure that spinal cord is, because that determines the lymph flow, nerve flow, all kinds of things there. Hot and cold to the cerebellum, work the neurolymphatics down the back, because she has to move lymph, because this sounds like an obstruction coming from the kidneys. But that's where you get them, right? Because it controls what system? The lymphatic system. So that's where I would be going. Yeah. It's lunch, but I want to get a couple more in here. Ruben! Hello, Dr. Morse. Hello, my friend. I love what you do, and I am ready to start my healing. Yeah! I have thinning hair. Oh, that started when at least it's thinning. Oh, look at this. He had thinning hair that started when he got duodenal ulcers. Any connection? One, lymphatic. See, and you got to consider duodenal ulcers. Now, duodenal ulcers, that's your small bowel, right? Now, you got bicarbonate supposed to come in there to neutralize any stomach acid. Now, if you're not neutralizing any stomach acid, say your hydrochloric acid, you're not pulling that chyme up to in the 7s or 8s. You could burn your wall there and ulcerate it. The worst thought, of course, is interstitial, meaning that interstitial spaces of your small bowel is impacted lymphatically, and you're seeing the burn all the way through to the mucosa. That's a little worse. And it just, all those things, those are the two basic reasons that you see ulcerations. The inability to neutralize stomach acids and or interstitial lymphatic constipation, which is by far the worst. That's your thickening of your bowel walls or gastral walls. That's your IBS, your Crohn's, your ulcerative colitis or enteritis. That's your real serious stuff. And that's lymph stagnation, where you go into kidneys and adrenals. You're always going to go to kidneys. In my opinion, you're always going to go to kidney and adrenals in your case, no matter what. No matter what. Because the one system that we're all universally having trouble with, due to the nature of the foods we've been eating, is the great lymphatic system. And just because there's not a lot of information on it, we like to consider ourselves in our group, you guys, the premier understanders of the lymphatic system. And Pat and I are writing a book on it. It'll be more of a textbook. So, I'm going to kind of go with interstitial lymphatic constipation, my friend, because if you correlate hair thinning with ulcers, then I'm going to go interstitial lymphatic constipation, meaning that your lymph system is not filtering well, and you're losing your scalp underneath. You're losing your hair follicles and things like this. Acids. So either way, you've got to get rid of this ulcer. So you've got to fix the gut to drain the head as a rule. So that's why I'm saying, you see how all these things are so connected? And then, of course, we're learning iridology, and boy, you guys will be the kings of looking at people and saying, well, you got this, this, and this, and this. When you can look at somebody's eyes and say, yeah, genetically you got a weak kidney, you look at your gallbladder's a little weak, oh, yeah, you got a right testicle that's weak, and look, your ovary on the left side is also. See, I mean, that's cool stuff. And it's fun stuff. Because this is the one thing you've got while you're on this rock spinning through space, is this human body. It's your vehicle. Take care of it. You know? Because if it ain't working right, it ain't no fun, is it? It ain't no fun to be in pain. It ain't no fun to be depressed. It ain't no fun to have your back all curved. It ain't no fun to see crap all over your skin. But understand there's only two sides of chemistry, and chemistry rules this level. Now it gets its little, it gets its whole from physics, from consciousness. So I'm going on my lymph system. Hair has not gotten worse, but not better. It's the same after 4 years. Thank the friggin' God. So you're in a pretty good way. Definitely upper circulation, right? If you want to add brain and nerve, it doesn't only make you smarter and more awake. But upper circulation is number one. Get hunking on the GI tract, on your kidneys and adrenals. Start moving this lymph, and get your sinuses drained. Candle your ears. Start pushing out the dirt. Acids. Start pushing out the dirt, the acids, the proteins. I have vitamin D deficiency as told by a trichologist. A trichologist? I never heard of that. I never heard of a trichologist. Never heard of a trichologist in all my years. What's a trichologist? What should I start with? I already started fruit 4 days ago. Upper circulation. Go after your GI tract aggressively, because you have to anyway with the ulcer. Stomach and bowel formulas, and then at about a month use the GI broom. I'd wait on the GI broom for about a month. You'll get that ulcer healed up a little bit. Stomach and bowel formula number one is perfect for that. Great for ulcers. If you want to do a little more power with that, sip around marshmallow tea. Drink some aloe. Get some aloe plants and scrape the little gooey stuff in there, and you take that down. Also, my mom has no cartilage in her knee and has a transplant coming up in a few weeks for both. Can she regenerate it? Not that quick. No, not that quick. You know, when you're talking about the regeneration of cartilage and bone and stuff like that, now scoliosis can straighten it out itself fairly quick. But truly, when you... I had a guy that had a cancer in the jaw, and when they cut his jaw out, cut most of it out, I had that whole jaw grown back in about, I'm going to say 6 months. But, you know, give it time. Get your acids out of the body. Get your parathyroid up and thyroid and everything that deals with calcium and the loss of it and the giving of it. But you might want to take a look at that. Of course, that's kidneys. But I can't, every time I hear bone, connective tissue, where do you want to go? Where does your mind want to go? Parathyroid, thyroid. Thyroid, calcitonin, parathyroid, parathormone. Those two are both needed. They're both needed. Parathyroid and thyroid are needed. But we could have a little hiccup. What could be that hiccup? That one little hiccup with that. Just one little hiccup there, guys. Pituitary. Just remember that one little hiccup. Could be the pituitary, that controlling. Pituitary controls all of them. Kind of like that Downs child. Bedwetting till 10, pituitary. That's where that comes from. It's just that you can identify these areas where these things come from if you know the body, but how do you fix them? Medical doctors, if they don't know where the areas in trouble are coming from, maybe we go back to an A&P class, but when you know the body enough and you know where these symptoms are going to be coming from, then how do you fix them? All right, well, how do you get a symptom in an area? Well, first you have to consider your genetics. You have to consider that you were born with a weakness, and that weakness could play a vital role in your health. Example, a weakness in the pancreas could affect your ability to digest your carbohydrates, and therefore you have no energy, you're more acidic because you have to eat more proteins, and blah, 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 blah. You could have a genetic weakness in the kidneys, and I wouldn't say could have. We all do. Now, that could affect what system? The giant lymphatic/sewer system of the human body. See what I'm saying? So genetic weaknesses are vital. Can you fix a genetic weakness? Genetics just means consciousness. Genetics is the consciousness is changing. And when we change the energy or the consciousness of our ingestion, we change the chemical output too. See, you have to first change the consciousness. See, that's not told to you guys, so you don't really know. But when you change the food, you're changing the level of consciousness you're associating with and you're interfacing with, which then changes the electromagnetic energy, which then changes the chemistry of your ingestion. I mean, it's all right there spiritually to take a look at how all that fits together. And then, of course, where does consciousness come from? What about you gives you consciousness? What part of you is the awareness part? All right, so I just gave you a clue. Physical body, is that your awareness part? Nope, that comes and goes. Your emotions. I can have love 1 minute and happiness there. They can go come and go like everything else. So they're not stable. Nah. The thought, the mind, that's it, the mind. We revere the mind and the great mind that creates all things. Is that where awareness comes from? Nope. You can stop thinking. If you stop thinking, you're more aware. So, you are beyond the physical body. You are beyond emotions. You're beyond thought. So that pulls you, there's only one thing left outside of the individualization, the ego, and that is God itself, consciousness itself, the infinite, the formless, the all of the all. Something you can't put a physical finger on. You can't put a thought on. You can't put emotion on. You can try to conceive it, but you can only experience it. You can only be it because you already are doing it. It's just your mind and emotions are dominating your attention. When your emotions, your desires, as Buddha said, quit desiring. That frees you immediately from all these channels of energy you have throwing out from all these items that you desire. When you quit thinking, that stops the churning and the chasing of thoughts, and it puts you more in the present moment, in the now, where there is no time, matter, energy, or space. And then you get to taste the infiniteness of your beingness. Pretty cool stuff. So it's always worth it to play in these fields and develop your higher awareness. So, it's the same thing with the foods. So take off on that. But your mom wants to be able to come out of the surgery good, get rid of the propofol neurotoxic effects, regenerate her skeletal system, fix the problems of why she lost her knee. And where would we might find that problem? Which you're going to find in yourself, my dear one? Kidneys. Kidneys and adrenals. Every time. All right. Thanks. This is a nice one right here. This is Sharon. Hi, Sharon. First and foremost, I am a big fan of yours. I absolutely love you for your beautiful soul. Oh, thanks, sweetie. I love you, honey. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Takes one to know one. Takes one to know one. At 59, this beautiful soul is 59 in the physical body. I am Caucasian, of Italian and German descent. In my life, I have been exposed to the sun, tanning on the beach. Oh, I love the beach. Now I have lots of skin moles. Well, that's probably from a different source. Maybe we just got to talking about moles. Interestingly, there we got another question on moles here. I have had multiple biopsies, 15 to 20, wow, in which 5 of them have come back squamous cell carcinoma, which were cut out. Since that time, I was self-treating my moles off and on by dabbing my skin moles with medical-grade hydrogen peroxide. Or you could nitrogen, but if you get in there and you fix your kidneys and adrenals and get your system out of acidosis and you start metabolizing all your foods and digestion, you'll be just fine. They'll fall off. To go that way, I keep people on parasite formulas anyway. Parasite in particularly for the fungus, and those moles will fall off that way. but it does bring us into adrenal kidney problems. Just think they live off your sewer system. You know, it's easy to understand when you take a look at it and realize your body has a sewer system in it, and when that sewer system backs up, you can imagine when a sewer system backs up, it's going to invite the unwanted ones. It's going to invite the nasty people, but they're part of nature. They come in to clean up for us. I love you guys. Thank you, bacteria. Love you. No, don't hate them. See, the problem is we blame the wrong things, like medical doctor diseases. The disease created the weaknesses. Or is it the other way around? See, sometimes we look one way when the real answer is the opposite direction. But you want to get your lymph system cleaned up big time. This is just what this is. Whenever any of you guys see moles and warts, your lymph system, sewer system is down. You can take that to the bank. And probably subcutaneous under the skin is a mess. You know? So you want to look at your elimination via skin, via your other two kidneys. You want to make sure your filtration through your other two kidneys. Your thyroid's up, your adrenals are up. And you can take anti-parasitic formulas a little bit, but, you know, you will still be a host as long as you offer up a sewer system that's out in trouble. Kill them one day, they'll be back because you haven't fixed the cause of the problem. You haven't got rid of their food source. Remember, when you see things growing on you, doesn't that give you some idea that you're becoming a food source? Well, when parasites start growing on you, wouldn't that first thing say, maybe my food source isn't too good? When I was last checked out by a dermatologist, she did 8 more you know what, you can biopsy these things till hell freezes over. And all it's going to do is keep damaging your skin cells. It's like, is that something that makes them feel good? Oh, I'll biopsy it and check. Does that make you feel good that you can biopsy something and check on it at the pathologist? It's like, oh, well, okay, anybody can do that. Can you fix it? And the fixing it is internal. They're growing on your outer, but the problem is internal. So you got to go inside of yourself and fix it. Well, how do you go inside and fix it? Well, you can only go the doorway of ingestion. What's the chemistry you're bringing in? What's the nature of it? What site is it dominant? Does it astringent? Is it energetic? Is it alive? Has it been processed or cooked? Has it been destroyed? Is it an acid-forming food? Is it a base-forming food? All those things go to play into whether your body is healthy and live and vital, or a sewage dump with all the parasites loving on it. My question is this: do you think that this was the reason they came back negative, since cancer cannot live in an alkaline environment? Well, all right, so I want to address that. I'm glad you said that. I am glad you said that. Let's think about this. Let's all hug each other and put our minds together here, and I want you to think about this. Do you think that this was the reason they came back, her moles? Wait a minute. Do you think, their moles came back negative, meaning that they weren't squamous or anything, weren't involved in that? Because remember, they're not just getting the mole, they're kicking cells too. Well, your moles are growing in sewage, which is acidic, so you can damage the cells. See what I'm getting at there? So if you pick cells when you take a biopsy, they're going to be what they're going to be. All right, so you say they came back negative because since cancer cannot live in an alkaline environment. Now, I want to read that again. She did, on a biopsy, her moles did not come back squamous or basal, because she wants to know, is it because she's been on an alkaline diet? Basically, I'm reading into this. And since cancer cannot live in an alkaline environment. Cancer is not, I'm going to come off the spiritual side a little bit and say that cancer isn't conscious in that way. You're talking about cells that are damaged. You're not talking about an entity called cancer. Medical doctors would love you to believe that you're fighting an entity of giant proportion, and they're here as the saviors of man someday, because today they're They're actually killing too many people. So someday we'll be the saviors when we find a cure to this dreaded, wild thing that came into this planet. Or you could realize that the name is given to cells that have been damaged by acids or proteins. And that's all that is. And that when you have cells that are damaged, they will rot, putrefy. They will give off, so you have macrophage. They're taken to the macrophage kingdom as well. That's their whole idea of taking cells to the lymph nodes where the macrophages are. So cells are terminated as long as that route is open. So if you go in and do a biopsy on a mole and you pull up a squamous cell, that just means that you have acids formed in that area. That means sewage is backed up in that area. But wouldn't that be where moles grow? Take a look at a person with moles on them, guys. Take off their tops. You'll find moles, ladies, growing under your breasts, down your lymphatic channels, down your lymphatic channels. Your moles grow down your lymphatic channels. Just look wherever you see your lymphatic channels and you're backed up, you'll have moles growing on you or skin tags and stuff like that. Clean your lymphatic channels and guess what goes bye-bye? And any cells that have been damaged can rebuild or they're taken to the lymph nodes where your macrophages. But to say that cancer is a conscious entity is something that I just wanted to correct you because I knew you didn't understand that when you said that. But when you look at we've got to get this out of our thinking because medical doctors have conveniently set this up so they make you believe something that is totally untrue. And so they make you think that cancer is this big roaring entity. No one has any idea what it is and can't control it, but they'll find the truth and keep donating $19 a month to our slaughterhouse St. Jude's. And someday, we'll find that cure. You know, the sad part about it is they're so much part of the problem, it's not even funny. They are the big part of the problem all the way to trying to dictate to people what their diet should be, the American Dietetics Association. If you look at the AMA, they are responsible for where we are as a human condition in their health. You like where you are? Okay. Didn't think so. But I've never seen such a, when you wake up, it's like, so change the way you look at it, sweetie. Change the way you look at it. You don't damage cells in an alkaline environment. You damage cells in an acid environment. It's generally inflammation on the outside of a cell, really, until it's what? Intracellular acidosis, meaning no longer can the cells distribute their waste external to them because the interstitial spaces are crammed full of sewage. Lymph isn't moving. Stagnation. That's when you can call the word obstruction. You get an obstruction in the blood, that's a beast of a whole nother color, and that's when you want to go.
No.
Also, I have developed a toenail fungus. See, you're just talking about your lymph system, honey. And this is, you can take parasite M on the fungus, but you'll see the fungus in correlation with the moles, but it is relevant to a very acidic, lymphatic, stagnant body. So let's get off the moles and warts. These are the effect. They don't have nothing to do with the cause of nothing. They're the effect of what you're doing to your body. So what am I doing to my body that's causing this problem? You're burning the type of fuel that the body doesn't want, causing mucus and incomplete digestion. And of course, because these have been proteins, this level of protein has damaged the kidneys and the GI tract of men. So now what you have is now your organs or glands are already weak coming in here, adding to this whole process of stagnation and acidosis because the foods just don't change. Mama teaches babies how to eat like their mama cooked, and it just goes on and on and on. So now you guys are interjecting, and the old greats interjected fruitarian way back, natural hygienic way back. So interjecting, infusing the consciousness of living foods, you guys are taking them to the top of the mountain. And it's essential. We have to take everybody as far as we can to regenerate. Like Hildy, you're at a level where you were chronic for years, breaking down the human body. Now you're in the process of rebuilding it. Cool stuff. But man is at this level, and you have to look at yourselves, because a lot of times you go along, and then the whammy comes. The whammy comes. And so then you get yourself in trouble. If you just remember, keep it simple, sweetheart. The body's just a bunch of cells with a blood system and a sewer system, a kitchen and a bathroom. It's the bathroom when it backs up that no one likes. If you have too much food in the kitchen, so what? How much too much poop in the bathroom? So what? That's a different story, isn't it? Totally. Nobody likes poop all over the bathroom. How do you like poop all over your house? Sounds great. But that, in fact, is what's happening in the human body. Cellular waste, which is considered cellular poop, isn't being eliminated out of the human body. And because of its nature is acidic, it's growing back on the cells. It's inflammation on the outside of a cell, meaning you're going to see cholesterol or calcium or edema, or you could see any of the immune responses, interleukins, any of the immune responsive factors. But ultimately, the factors of cholesterol, calcium, and edema are going to be the deciding live or die factors. So, you want to make sure that you look at this properly. And we got to get out of this idea that the diseases causes our problems. That's just a name for a set of symptoms that you're showing in your body. Trace it back. I like to trace it back to, I can't find any more answers to it. I can't find any more questions, or if I have questions, they're just absolutely nowhere to find the answer to it. Nowhere on the planet. Then you have to go within and get to the Akashic records, or get to where the astral museums, or somewhere where you can get more of a view. No, so you got a fungus on the foot, and you can use parasidium, or any antifungals. But to really get rid of that on the toenail, you got to move lymph, get your kidneys filtering and move lymph, and then you're really cleaning your sewer system. It cleans the spleen, then the blood gets clean. Everybody's good. Bone marrow enhances. Everybody goes up. Cells are rebuilt, and everybody's happy. I know it's not good for my health. It certainly keeps me from painting my toenails and wearing pretty sandals in the summer months. Well, got to get rid of it, because it also can make you depressed, leave uric acid in the body, and it goes on and on and on and on. Recently, and luckily, I discovered you on the YouTube videos. I started taking your advice by eating fruits, berries, melons, and have a big green organic salad for dinner for about 8 weeks, along with taking your Heal All Blend capsules as well as Parasidium. Oh, I see. Yep. In my opinion, how long should it take for me to see results in kicking this toenail fungus? Make sure your kidneys are filtering. See, that's the one thing. Because we have a lot of people, we have people that have been on our programs for up to a year and not filtering. Scary. And these are cancer people. Excuse me. So it's serious stuff. So you get into chronic kidneys. The other thing that's scary here, and I mentioned this before, is chronic lymph nodes. You've got lymph nodes that have decayed and atrophied, or they're hard as a rock. You're not going to pass anything through them. You're not going to change the outcome on the other side of them. Those poor cells on the other side of them are still going to get beat up until you can open that pathway somehow. And if not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we have our scary things. Things are simple, things are fun, but we also have our scary things. And not our pseudo bullcrap from diseases and things like that. We have serious, scary things, serious stuff that can kill people. People die from pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. Well, you killed yourselves. But I mean things that really kill you. In your opinion, so I'll say, anywhere if you're really hitting it hard and raw, 3-6 months, I would think, easy. But again, I try to say this, but it could be your bowels could be chronic, your lymph system could be chronic. It could take you a year. I mean, I hate to say, because I'm telling you, just don't know. Everyone is at a different level genetically, and everyone is at a different level lymphatically. So that's what makes the differences, guys. And there are differences. We can tell you that everybody has the same systems and the same this and the same this. Yes. And once we understand the symptoms of what tissues are down, then you get that. But the level of that is individual. And that's where the iris analysis comes into play here and helps us look at that. And then you just keep working on it, because I'll say this, no matter how long it takes you, there's nothing else out there unless you want to go to the aggressive boys, the 43-day water fast, and the other guy that's doing the extended dry fast. But I'm going to tell you, caution to you guys that are doing those, you hurt people and it's going to come down hard on you. You got to don't go too aggressive. You break up things too much, and like Marcy, she almost died, almost killed her. Can't do it. I will say, it's like God consciousness. If the power of God hit you right now, you wouldn't be here. There's all levels to that, and you can only go so far while still having a physical body, or it'll burn the body. You cannot get but only so far in consciousness, because it's just that powerful. And the same way with health. You've got to open these doors and start working for your health and getting your health together. And things become more powerful and healthy. You got to realize, that we're islander. The Homo sapien body is an islander species, and you look at the physical body, it becomes obvious. Then you don't have anything to keep you warm. You don't have anything but pick and peel. You really are designed totally as frugivores. We are a passive being. We're a conscious being. We're not designed for war and stuff like that. We do. It's pretty gross. Yeah. So, I don't know. It just depends on your body, and how deep it is, and how long it takes you. I have a gut feeling you will tell me to detox my blood to rid the toenail fungus. Doesn't matter. Blood has nothing to do with the sewer system. Think about that. Sewage. Ooh, sewage. Ooh. Some people go, yummy, yummy, yummy. So, no. And adding or doubling up on my herbs. No, not really. It's not about, again, more isn't better. I'm not one of those kind of guys. If I write your protocol up and you see I went after you, it's only because you have multiple problems. I go after you. You want me to write your protocols, I'm going to go after you guys. Because you're going to win the day if you're going to work with me. I'm going to make sure you win the day. Right? But I don't try to load you up for no reason. I don't do that. I don't consider that advantageous for any of us. That's not how you get good reputations, by ripping people. You get good reputations by helping people work through their problems and getting to Wellville. And that's how you get good reputations. And I want each and every one of you to get good reputations. Because we could take people into Wellville and make them healthy. I am correct in my thinking? Nope. Nope, you're not. But proper focus thinking, yes. In other words, you're focused on the blood, it's in the lymph, you're in the sewer system, so you're on the kidneys, the adrenals, the GI tract. That's where your focus should be. Parasite MOAs. Curious to hear your answer on this. Thank you and your advice for addressing my question. Oh, you're ready. God bless to you, Shannon. Love you too, my dear. I'm going to go take a break and eat. There's so many, but you know what? I appreciate the fact that a lot of you are calling in. Because by the time I read your case and you're in trouble, you could be dead. So, or left this planet. So if you feel it's serious enough, you call in here. But your questions are valuable for everyone, because all these questions are relative to everyone. We all have these same problems at one level or another, or have had them. Now, not all of them, of course. But there's certainly a lot of people out there in serious trouble. So your questions are all good and relative, because it helps me to bring up another point of view, maybe show a different light on something. And if that can help you to go, oh yeah, I get that, then I've done my job. If I can make this simple enough to where you go, aha, I get it, I've done my job. I feel like I've done my job here, because I've sent here to keep things simple.